Okay, we've just had another meeting of Wakefield's Cabinet and several things to mention to people who might be watching this. The first is that we've agreed to have a civic reception for Cast Tigers for finishing top of Super League this season. The first time in our history we've done that, and as a keen Tigers fan, I'm pleased that we've agreed to do so. I also made reference to the fact that a very positive meeting was held yesterday with Wakefield Trinity and the owners of Bellevue. And we're working very closely with the owners of Bellevue and with the owners of Wakefield Trinity to try and find a solution to the issue of a new stadium, and also to do our very, very best to make sure that Wakefield Trinity can continue to play in Wakefield next season. I think everybody in the district would want that to happen, and we're doing our best to make sure it does. We have a meeting tomorrow on Wednesday with both the club owners and with the stadium owners, and hopefully we can make a formal announcement at that time, and fingers crossed it's really good news. We've also talked about the council's budget. We've had to make savings in the year 2017-18 of £27 million, and the report discussed today made it clear that we're on target to do that. So it shows that the council, despite those cuts, is being well managed financially. We anticipate a slight underspend of about 1/3 of 1%, which equates to something just over £500,000. Things are still pretty tough for us, but I say at least we know that the finances are being well managed. That led us on to talk about the annual complaints report, and we do have people making complaints about the service. I was keen to point out to Cabinet that citizens have a right to complain. In fact, that's how we learn to do things differently and how we learn to do things better. And the report made it clear that where there are lessons to be learned, we shall learn them. And I think that's the way that any council should deal with the complaints it gets. However good you are, or however good you think you are, people will always complain, and that's their right. But I say we will make sure that we improve where we need to. And finally, we had a report that looked at our performance. In a lot of areas, we're seeing the councils improving services. In one or two areas, some of the services haven't improved quite as much. And I think colleagues were at pains to point out that there has to be a link between the huge amount we're being asked to take out of our budget, say £27 million in this year alone, and the level of some of our services. We've also agreed that later in the year, in fact in October, we are going to start an engagement process and talking to people to find out if the priorities that we've got are relevant. So to do that, we'll start engaging with local groups, local organisations and citizens right across the district. So hopefully by the end of October, we'll have a much clearer idea about what the new priorities are and how that matches to the budget that we're going to have to set later in the year. And again, that will be a very difficult budget, but we are determined to make sure that the services that we provide are the best we can possibly give our residents. Thanks.